There's a book of Matthew 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. First and foremost, I would like to take all of y'all Bashem Yoshai, Bashem Kakodash, the ones to the apostles and elders, great Milson and Ruel. Peace, blessings, salutations to the whole fellowship, to all you brothers out there pushing the word in truth and sincerity. Shalom to all you brothers, stay strong, pushing it with quick lesson and speaking about Great Britain, which Great Britain is going to be a part of this war too, man. You're going to have a lot of countries, a lot of these different nations that are going to take part in this World War III, in the War of Armageddon, as the scripture calls it. And Great Britain is going to be one of them. But right now you see Great Britain, it says right here, Britain is punching above its weight and living in the past as it announces plans to build nuclear warheads and take on China. So now you have Great Britain getting some cojones now, talking about going to nuclear war against China. Okay, and to be real, of course, China will slap the shit out of Great Britain because China has too much power. China has a great army, but of course behind Great Britain is America. You have Israel, you have other countries over there too. But then on the other side you have China, Russia, another superpower. You have Iran. Now Turkey's getting up in there, and other countries too. So you already have the different nations choosing sides, different countries choosing sides now. Okay, it's only a matter of time till something happens, and all hell breaks loose. Okay, but anyways, it says right here, the UK's new foreign policy review features some ambitious ideas to contain China, but post-Brexit with trade plunging, it's not realistic and smacks of a country still looking back wistfully as at its empire days. Boris Johnson has confirmed Britain's intentions to tilt towards the Indo-Pacific with the primary focus on China in the UK's latest security and foreign policy review. Let me skip down a little bit. As a matter of fact, it says, in a nutshell, Britannia doesn't rule the waves anymore, and it is merely an observer in the Indo-Pacific rather than a driver of events there and so-called global policeman. This is not a strategy built on realism or practicality. It is going to be able to come close in any arms race against Beijing. Oh, it isn't going to be able to come close in any arms race against Beijing at the same time as it isolates itself from its own natural neighborhood back home. Exactly, going into the whole Brexit thing, right? But yeah, so you see, the UK is pissed at China for whatever reason, and but this is part of prophecy, like I read in the scripture, Matthew 24 verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and this what we're hearing right here with Britain, coming at China. This is a rumor of war. Okay, you have others, like Turkey and America, they're having a little beef, right? They're having a little situation going on with them. You have China and India, so there's all these little schisms going on back and forth. Of course, you have America fucking with pretty much damn near everybody. America's a bully, right? So you're hearing these rumors of wars, and wars are happening too. Okay, maybe more like battles, but the ultimate war, which is at World War III, the nuclear war, is going to be the war to end all wars, man. That's going to be that's going to bring the end of Esau's world. Okay, the like the scripture calls it also the third woe. Okay, that's going to be the end of Esau's world, the end of America, known as Babylon the Great. The destruction, because they're going to be shooting those nuclear missiles on each other. And the scripture also says in Ecclesiastes, there's a time and place for everything. There's a time of peace and a time of war. So we are definitely living in a time of war. You turn on the news, it doesn't even matter what news, even Fox News, CNN, right? The two main, the two main big ones, right? Even they tell you about wars and shit. They talk about Russia, they talk about China, they talk about Americans, having these little beefs and shit like that. So even the mainstream media talks about this shit. So you know something's brewing. Something's brewing behind the scenes. It's gonna take one little spark to ignite the whole shit and kick things off. But let me go ahead and get this scripture says 2 Ezra chapter 15 verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Exactly. So this is how this war is going to start. Okay, you're gonna have these nations shooting at each other with their weapons, with their tanks, their tomahawk helicopters, with their fighter jets and shit like that. And then eventually it's gonna lead off to the big toys, man, which is them ICBM missiles and nuclear missiles. Okay, and like the scripture says, what is it? Isaiah chapter 9 verse 5. Every war is with. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and get it real quick. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. Exactly, coming with swords in their hands, right? But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Exactly, this World War III, after all that shit, after they get it on with their weapons and shit like that, the finale is gonna be those nuclear missiles. Like it says here, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, which that's talking about that nuclear destruction. Okay, those missiles that they're gonna be shooting on each other. So once again, 2 Ezra 15 verse 15, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. Exactly, the destruction of America, Babylon the Great, and other parts of the world that are going to be hit with these missiles. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, exactly, country against country, and swords in their hands. For they shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay, so there you have it, man. So we are clearly coming to this, into this time. And in this particular case, you have Britain talking shit about China and pretty much, talking big and bad, it says, Britain is punching above its weight and living in the past as it announces plans to build nuclear warheads and take on China. So, they're talking like they're big boys now, man. Okay, but anyways, with that, I'm going to call out Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Hakudash. Till next time, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, say Shalom.